The U.S. government, under the leadership of President Trump, is weighing a significant expansion of travel restrictions that could impact up to 36 countries worldwide, an unprecedented move, with 25 of those nations located in Africa. This proposal has sparked intense debate both within the United States and across the globe, as many question the necessity and potential consequences of such sweeping measures. The initiative, which follows a June 2025 executive order, is designed to tighten national security by more closely scrutinizing countries considered to have high-risk profiles. Officials argue that these steps are essential to protect American interests, but critics warn of unintended diplomatic fallout. Major African nations such as Nigeria and Ghana are among those named, raising serious concerns about the future of diplomatic relations, business partnerships, and personal connections between the U.S. and these countries. Many fear that the restrictions could isolate communities and disrupt lives. The proposal, detailed in a confidential State Department memo, sets out a series of benchmarks that countries must meet in order to avoid being subjected to the new restrictions. These criteria include enhanced information sharing and improved border security measures. The uncertainty surrounding the proposal is causing widespread anxiety among students hoping to study abroad, professionals with international careers, and families who fear separation from loved ones. For countries with strong ties to the U.S., the stakes are incredibly high. Families could be divided, academic dreams put on hold, and vital trade relationships threatened, potentially impacting economies on both sides of the Atlantic. As governments scramble to respond and negotiate, millions of people across continents anxiously await the final decision, hoping for clarity and a path forward in these uncertain times. The administration frames these restrictions as essential for national security, emphasizing the need to protect the country from potential threats that may arise from abroad. Officials argue that these measures are not just precautionary, but a necessary response to evolving global risks and vulnerabilities. They cite weak identity verification systems and widespread government fraud in certain targeted countries as major concerns, suggesting that these gaps could be exploited by individuals seeking to bypass security protocols. Practices like so-called golden passport schemes, where citizenship is granted in exchange for investment, are seen as significant security risks, potentially allowing bad actors or individuals with criminal intent to enter the U.S. under false pretenses. President Trump has repeatedly linked the policy to recent security incidents, arguing that tighter controls and enhanced vetting are needed to prevent future threats and to reassure the public that the government is taking action. The U.S. is demanding greater cooperation on immigration enforcement and information sharing from other nations, using the threat of travel restrictions as leverage to encourage compliance and strengthen international partnerships. Countries are being evaluated on their willingness to accept deportees, improve their document security, and align with U.S. security standards, with ongoing assessments to ensure continued compliance. The message is clear. Access to the U.S. now depends on meeting these strict benchmarks, reflecting a broader shift toward prioritizing security and compliance in immigration policy. The African Union, along with a growing chorus of international critics, has voiced strong opposition to the new policy, expressing deep concern over its far-reaching implications. Many warn that the policy could unfairly penalize entire populations, regardless of individual circumstances, and threaten to unravel decades of hard-won progress in U.S.-Africa relations, which have been built on mutual respect and cooperation. With the majority of countries on the list being African, critics argue that the move appears discriminatory, echoing the controversies of previous travel bans and raising questions about underlying motives. The African Union is calling for open dialogue and genuine collaboration, emphasizing that sweeping restrictions risk damaging not only diplomatic ties, but also vital educational, cultural, and business exchanges that benefit both continents. African leaders now face the difficult challenge of defending their nation's sovereignty and interests, while also striving to maintain constructive relations with the United States in an increasingly complex global landscape. The prevailing concern is that these measures could set a damaging precedent, erode trust, and strain diplomatic relationships for years to come, making future cooperation even more challenging. The U.S. has given the 36 countries a 60-day deadline to comply with new security benchmarks or face travel restrictions. Nations must submit action plans addressing document security and cooperation on deportations. The demands are significant, requiring overhauls of identity systems and new immigration agreements. Failure to comply could sever family ties, disrupt students' plans, and hurt business and economic growth. As the deadline approaches, diplomatic negotiations are underway with the international community watching closely. The outcome will shape global mobility and U.S. relations with these countries for years to come.